Greetings, humans, I'm Retrobot, and you are not. Ha ha hee hee ho ho. Here I go.
Oh!
Ouch. Pull me out.
Oh boy, Retrobot, it's closing time. Lights out. I'll pull you out tomorrow.
Hey, wait.
Greetings, all you vintage audio tomcats and pretty kitties. I'm Retro Ernest of Retro Electrotech, and welcome back to the bench as I pick back up with refurbishing the power supply and amp section of the Magnavox 1S as in Sam, C as in Charlie 603 coffee table style record console. Whew. So, as I often say, the objective here is to increase the reliability factor of this whole unit electromechanically and within budget. Of course, I've already demonstrated in fair detail the refurbishment of both Micromatic record changers, so now it's time to assure proper heart function, which brings us first to the power supply portion of things. This is the heart of the unit, okay? And without a stable and quiet supply, you have muchos problemas because A, it's the heartbeat. Without it, you got nada. B, the supply must be sufficient to hold up to the current demands of the design. So that's why good quality filter caps are one of the first orders of business. Of course, not the only order of business, but one of the first. We want to get bad filters, power caps out of there. Again, we don't want a substantial filter cap, or any cap for that matter, catastrophically failing in a manner that brings about transformer damage or other component damage. We also want a quiet supply without unwanted hum, you know, the type that stems from bad caps. So let's go ahead and dive underneath and I'll show you what I'm prepping up for. Okay, so here we are on the bottom side, and in preparation, I just kind of cleared this section here underneath this multi-section cap can, and I busted off the tabs from underneath the can here, and just kind of, again, cleared the area so that I can mount my terminal strip that's going to reside in this area here, probably like so. I'm going to situate everything somewhat in this general area here. Okay, so these caps, once mounted, will be, you know, mounted like so, and just kind of in this general area you can get an idea of how they're going to be situated here. And of course, when everything's said and done, I will come on back and show you how I mounted everything, you know, how I kept everything nice and neat. I don't want the bodies of the caps to extend over too far and impede access to any portion of the circuit board here. So that's why I'm going to be mindful of how I mount this terminal strip. And again, you can see where the tab of the filter can was soldered to the chassis there. So I'm probably going to use this general area and do the same, just kind of solder this terminal strip in place and position it accordingly so that everything connects back up to it. I might have to extend some wires just a little bit so that I can get everything routed nice and neat, but that's neither here nor there. So everything will be situated like so. So I'll be back for all that and the final details. Let's go ahead and check and make sure that these full wave rectifiers here, these rectifier diodes, are looking good. So let's go ahead and switch on over to diode mode. Okay, let me zoom out enough. Okay, there we go. And let's look at rectifier number 1 here. Okay, and yeah, 0.6. Okay, and let me reverse the probes here and make sure we're not conducting in reverse, and we are not. Okay, good. Same thing here. Let's just make sure we're not conducting in reverse here, and we are not. Otherwise, let me flip these around. Okay, 0.598. So that's all well and good. Like I said, I'm going to be replacing the original caps with some Nichicon long life 105 degree caps. So we'll get this power supply, this filter section all freshened up here. And when everything is completed, I will be right back and we'll take a look at things, how everything came out. You know, before moving forward, let's just check capacitance and ESR real quick. And I normally don't do that, but for the sake of the video, I will. Again, a capacitor tester like this has its limitations, but it'll show us kind of where things are in the ballpark and give us an idea of the overall health of this cap. As old as this multi-section can is, I normally would just yank it out, not a big deal, but again, just for the sake of the video. So let's go ahead and just check it out. I'm more apt to check the capacitance and ESR of what I'm putting in as far as new caps to make sure that a dud didn't slip through the mix or anything, more so than taking out old caps, because, you know, testing old caps and all that crap when they just need to come out is kind of a waste of time, to me anyways, unless I want to hone in on something that I feel might be problematic and I'm in diagnostic mode. That's a different story. But when I'm just in the mode of pulling out caps and getting things freshened up, then I usually don't bother. So anyways, let me go ahead and check this first half of the cap cam. The first half is a 1000 mic 20 volt cap. And let me get the lead in place, the test probe. And yeah, we're at over 1900 mics on this 1000 mic cap and 0.19 on the ESR. So you could see the age of the cap. So anyways, let me go ahead and over to the other side, which is a 500 mic 20 volt cap. See what we get. So 709.1 mics at 0.16 on the ESR. So, you know, the cap is showing its age. The ESR readings on both halves were, you know, right on the edge of where things should be. And as you can see, the capacitance is elevated, more so on that first cap. So anyways, good enough. Let's go ahead and move forward. Okay, and here we are. So everything fit within this footprint, nice and tidy. As you can see, I positioned the tie strip in such a way that the existing leads, for example, from these rectifier diodes, mounted up onto this terminal here without much effort in terms of, you know, rearranging things. The existing wiring and, you know, the replacement cap itself. You know, everything is mounted up nice and tidy, again within this footprint. So mission accomplished there. Let me go ahead and flip it on over and continue forward. Before removing all of the old original caps, I want to clarify my objective or mission. And again, it's to perform clean and gentle repair and restorative work in all of this equipment that I work on. So when preparing to replace components, I do so with consideration to keeping the audio path as clean, quiet, and uncolored as is possible. Now, because of specifications, performance differences between the old caps, for example, and the modern replacements, there will be more than likely some performance differences as far as sonic characteristics are concerned, but all of that is subjective anyways, right? But the main point I want to drive home is for the sake of keeping the audio path clean and quiet, I'm going to be using some Nishikon UKL or KL electrolytics on account of their reliable low leakage specs and the resultant low noise performance. So anyway, when I flash to a new scene, the new caps will be on board and we'll be that much closer to some audio testing. And just like that, with the miracle of camera, voila, everything is done. Caps are on board. I've been through to check all the resistor values, and everything was looking good there except for one resistor over here, a 68K resistor that was a bit out, and that's been replaced. The only other thing that was actually the most time consuming really was the pots. Earlier on, when I first function tested this record player / console unit, coffee table unit, we noticed that there was quite a bit of static, crackle, intermittent signal loss due to the pots. So I flushed those out multiple times, and it took about 3 times. There was a lot of gunk, dirt, and old lubricant and all that crap draining out of the pots. I had to really flush them and exercise the pot repeatedly, back and forth. Again, as I often say, until my wrist was hurting and I had to cry uncle. That's how you have to work these pots, and that's what I did over and over, and they responded favorably. Everything is really quiet. The only other thing I have to do with the pots is reintroduce some fader lube, a few drops or so, into the openings of the pots, and again, distribute the lubrication along the resistive track and the contacts and all that stuff, work them, in other words. And then once I do that, that'll smooth the function, the feel of the pots, and everything will be good there. And I went through and I checked the transistors. I didn't pull them out, check them out of circuit and all that, because that, as far as time was concerned, and it's not really in the budget to do that unless there was a problem with one of the transistors or something, of course. But I at least went through and checked the junctions, and yeah, everything was looking good with these transistors. And like I said, everything is quiet. I have a signal in it right now. I have a 1 kilohertz burst tone. The reason why I have a burst tone in here is I don't want to listen to a steady signal over and over again and slam my head on the bench and all that and go nuts. So that's that. So what I'm going to do right now is just turn it up, and you'll hear how quiet everything is. Let me see. Okay. So again, everything is real quiet, and that was the objective, is to get in here, clean everything up, and everything is sounding really good now, at least based on what it is. Okay, it's just a simple amp, and as far as performance expectations are concerned, it's doing okay. It's doing what it's supposed to be doing. And let me go over here and pan on up to the scope. And I'm going to steady out the tone just for a moment. And everything is symmetrical, so sorry to have to do that to you. So let me go ahead and pan back down. Okay, let me turn this down. As you can hear too, there's no noise in any of the pots. Here's the treble pot. the base pot, you know, no crackle. And so that was the objective, like I said, is to increase the reliability factor, of course, by, you know, getting out those old electrolytics. And again, you know, just cleaning up the power supply, getting new electrolytics there, check everything out, and, you know, the main filters and all that good stuff. So mission accomplished there. Once I get this back on board, the cabinet with the turntable, along with the other unit I'm working on, the other Magnavox, the tube unit, once I get all this together, I am going to do a final audio test, throw some vinyl on both of them, kind of compare, and you know, just talk about things a little bit, vibe into them and all that good stuff. So the only thing I wanted to do here was just to flash back over to the amp, show that it was completed. The noise is you know, out of the amp now, which was primarily in the controls, of course, and everything is nice and quiet. And the reliability factor of this thing has been increased by just getting all those old caps out of there and checking everything out. And unless something is to just you know, fail otherwise, like a transistor, or, you know, one of the transformers was to go, something like that, I think this thing has quite a few years in it now, and so everything's looking good there. So as I always say, you know, peace, love, and music, and of course the vintage audio that brings it to our ears. That's what this is all about. So till next time, guys, you take care of yourselves.
This is a poor man's shoe production.